Viewers, all eyes will be on the special court in Mumbai today because it is set to pronounce its verdict in the 2008 Malegaon blast case in which former BJP MP Pragya Singh Thakur and Lieutenant Colonel Shrikant Purohit are among the accused. In one of the country's longest running terror cases, there are 7 accused who've been on trial on charges of including murder and criminal conspiracy under the IPC and also the anti-terror law, which is the UAPA. Now, ahead of the judgment, this is a recall of what exactly happened in Malegaon. We're going to tell you about it and the major turning points in this 17-year-old case. It was 2011. The case was transferred to the National Investigation Agency, the Federal Investigation Agency that was set up after the 2008 Mumbai terror attacks. Now, even as the NIA continued with its investigation, the accused went ahead and approached courts challenging the invocation. Now, in the charge sheet that was filed in the year 2016, that is on the 13th of May, the NIA dropped charges under the MACOCA. And it said that the manner in which organized law was invoked by the ATS, it was very questionable. Now, most of the ATS's case against the accused relied on confessions, and the NIA said that the confession of Chaturvedi was an outcome of torture. Now, almost 17 years after that blast killed 6 people and left more than 100 injured in Maharashtra's communally sensitive Malegaon town, this was a special NIA court. This is now going to give its verdict in the case. Nilesh, my colleague, is with us. Nilesh, we gave a quick, look back on the milestones and the turning points in the Malegaon case, a case that has been highly political, that has rocked and has defined the narrative when it comes to national politics in Maharashtra to a very, very contentious case. But today, the stakes are going to be high. What does it mean for those who have been named as accused in the case? Give us a detailed lowdown.
Well, yes, absolutely. This is one of the biggest case that is to be presented by court today. A verdict is expected by today in a few hours, and it will be a massive one because there has been various conspiracies and theories that has been floating in and around the case, not just pertaining to the lives of 7 accused, but also hundreds of family members who have lost their near and dear one. Remember, it was 6 deaths which was reported and nearly 101 injuries were marked onto this particular incident. And since then, as you rightly pointed out, that the political narrative also found a new dimension, wherein at first the saffron terrorism term was coined by the then ruling government. At moment, presenting to our viewers is the site where exactly this incident unfolded back in year 2008. It was 29th of September evening when this unfortunate incident took place, and this was the very exact spot where we are currently standing, where the vehicle was parked and suddenly the explosive went off, and the impact of this explosion was a massive one, resulted into 6 lives being killed and 101 plus were left injured. How grievous it was, the remarks or the damage are still pertinent in here. You can see the first floor of this premises, wherein the damaged structure is seen, is the result of the pallet blasting that took place, and just below that a shop is also situated in here, wherein you can see how the deep impact of the pallets were seen. It penetrated into the shop, and it is a massive hole that is seen into this shop as well. You can see the memories have not faded away, the pain have not faded away, and which is why this verdict becomes a massive of importance. Now, ATS has their own say, NIA has their own say, which will be considered by the special NIA court is of a grave importance, because it is again not only functioning of the agencies but also functioning of various narratives that took place into the political diaspora as well. We saw how political dimensions were shaping,
and
found
Nilesh,
a new shape.
even now, the case is very relevant. If we talk about what's happening in Parliament, the mention of the Home Minister, it brings back memories of the narrative that was spun, making this very case, that is the Malegaon case, the centerpiece. And that is why one would ask, was the Hindu terror narrative, brought up like a political hit job? That's the question many in the BJP are asking. When it comes to Sadhvi Pragya or Lieutenant Colonel Purohit, were they tortured to let go of the real culprits? Nilesh, if you can hear me.
Becomes of massive importance. As you can see, just yesterday it was Union Minister Amit Shah who pointed out that how the previous governments were somewhat trying to enforce that Hindu terrorism is also a theory, but in his speech he mentions that it is only a mere theory which is of a false propaganda which the previous government have been running, because no evidences have been found. And speaking of this particular case as well, 323 investigations or we can say statements were recorded by multiple agencies, out of which 40 turned hostile, and ATS role since the very beginning was into questioning. Now the first action that was taken against Sadhvi Pragya, she was arrested post the blast, that is in month of October 2008, and the evidence was given that the vehicle which was carrying the explosive belongs to her. However, the advocate goes on stating that how, if it was such a massive explosion, how is it possible that agency is able to find out the chassis number and ultimately land to Sadhvi Pragya. Various individuals who have been made accused into the said case, numbering in 7, have their background with some Hindu organization, and that only is the aspect that the ATS had somewhat manipulated the entire case, working under pressure of the then state government, and which is why various cases went on, the trial went on. However, no conviction was done because the agencies lacked evidence, and which is why it is highly...
I want you to stay with us because we also have lawyers today who are speaking out. The stage is set for this very crucial verdict that's set to come up. We have a reaction from the lawyer of one of the blast victims. Let's listen in.
है आप जो पीड़ित हैं उनके वकील हैं, किस तरह की उम्मीद लगा के रखी है कोर्ट से, क्या कहना चाहते हैं?
देखिए, मालेगांव 2008 बम धमाका मामला 29 सितंबर को मालेगांव के भिक्खू चौक में हुआ था, जिसमें 6 लोगों की मौत हुई थी, 101 जख्मी हुए थे। वो सीरियस इंजरी हुई थी उनको। और ये हम तो ये समझते हैं कि ये ट्रायल जो चला है सिर्फ मुलजिमिन के खिलाफ में नहीं, मतलब आरोपी लोग के खिलाफ में नहीं चला, ये ट्रायल तो विक्टिम का भी हुआ है, क्योंकि उनको अपने जख्म दिखाने पड़े अदालत में आके। 101, 102, 103 विटनेस एज ए विटनेस आए अदालत में बॉम्बे, जो कि मालेगांव से 300 किलोमीटर दूर है। सारी मुसीबत परेशानियां उठा के बारिश में, गर्मी में आके अदालत में अपने जख्म दिखाए जज साहब को। जज पड़ालकर साहब उस वक्त ट्रायल चला रहे थे, वो जज थे, उनको बताया, क्योंकि अक्यूज नंबर 10 स्वामी जो है उनका नाम चतुर्वेदी, उन्होंने इंजरी एडमिट नहीं की थी, इंजरी सर्टिफिकेट उन्होंने कहा कि हमको कबूल नहीं है कि बॉम्ब ब्लास्ट हुआ है वहां पर। इसीलिए एज ए प्रोसीजर प्रोसिक्यूटर को इंजर्ड को बुलाना पड़ा, जो विक्टिम्स है, कि आप आके यहाँ गवाही दो कि आपका इलाज कहाँ हुआ था, आपको जख्म कहाँ हुए थे। जख्मियों ने आके अपने हाथ दिखाए, कटे हुए हाथ दिखाए, पैर में जान लगी थी वो दिखाया, आंखें फूटी हुई थी वो दिखाया।
So the focus is back on the saffron terror narrative that was coined in the UPA era. Now remember, yesterday itself, it was Union Home Minister Amit Shah who took on the proponents of Hindu terror, especially this bogey, and he thundered that Hindus cannot be terrorists. A lot of politics over the statement, and it comes in the context of today's verdict in the Malegaon case, which is now coming up very soon.
हिंदू टेरर का सगुफा किसने छोड़ा? मैं आज दुनिया के सामने, देश की जनता के सामने गर्व से कहता हूं कि हिंदू कभी टेररिस्ट नहीं हो सकता। हम कभी टेररिस्ट नहीं हो सकते। क्या कहना चाहते हैं? फर्जी टाइप के केस बनाए, एक भी केस अदालत में नहीं टिका। देशभक्त संगठनों पर आरोप लगाए आपने, सिर्फ आपकी छिछोरी राजनीति के लिए, क्षुल्लक फायदे के लिए।
Now the opposition is hitting back after Amit Shah targeted the Congress party for whipping up the Hindu terror bogey, where he said that I can say with conviction that Hindus cannot be terrorists. So the opposition is now fuming at that statement. Amit Shah has listed the times Congress raised the Hindu terror bogey. The Congress party on its part is calling the statement nothing but a diversionary tactic. Let's listen into those reactions as well.
Why this distraction now? Who is even discussing Hindu terror? Nobody is discussing Hindu terror. Why is he trying to bring that phrase in to our narrative so that we are distracted from the actual failures of this government on defense policy, on foreign policy, on trade policy, and multiple failures, domestic security. So that's been the thumb rule of this government, to distract attention from the fundamental issues, from the fundamental failures of this government.
Not just the Congress party, it's even the Samajwadi party which has taken umbrage. Now remember, there were leaders from the Samajwadi party who made many statements that the BJP branded as anti-Hindu in the past. And now, after Amit Shah's assertion in Parliament about Hindus cannot be terrorists, there is a prompt reaction coming in. Let's listen in.
देखिए, गृह मंत्री जी को बताना चाहिए कि नाथूराम गोडसे कौन है। जब आप किसी एक धर्म का नाम लेते हैं और दूसरे धर्मों का नाम नहीं लेते हैं, तो कहीं ना कहीं आप दूसरे धर्मों पे उंगली उठाने का काम करते हैं। और एक धर्मनिरपेक्ष देश में देश के गृह मंत्री जो संवैधानिक पद पे बैठे, उनसे ये उम्मीद नहीं की जाती कि वो इस तरह की भाषा का इस्तेमाल करें। भारतीय जनता पार्टी वो केवल हिंदू मुसलमान करना चाहती है।
So who exactly is doing Hindu-Muslim as being alleged and questioned by leaders of the opposition? So this conversation around religion started after senior Congress leader, a former chief minister no less, saw religious colors in military operations. Prithviraj Sawan dubbed Operation Mahadev, that eliminated 3 butchers of Pahalgam, as a tool to inject religious fundamentalism. In fact, he raised an objection and he said, why was the name given after Mahadev? He went on to accuse the BJP of mixing religion and making everything a Hindu-Muslim conflict.
ऑपरेशन का नाम तो धार्मिक आधार पर देने के सिवा उनको कुछ आता नहीं, क्योंकि उनको हर सरकार की जो काम जो भी सरकार करती है उसमें कोई रिलीजियस फंडामेंटलिज्म और हिंदुत्व मिलाना चाहती है। दे आर ट्राइंग टू पोलराइज द सिचुएशन कि ये हिंदू वर्सेस मुस्लिम लड़ाई है। क्या है तो आप बताइए। ये हिंदू, इसीलिए ये सिंदूर का क्या मतलब है? सिंदूर तो सिर्फ हिंदू कॉन्सेप्ट है, ये कोई दुनिया में तो कोई कॉन्सेप्ट है ही नहीं।
My colleague Sabyasachi is with us. There's a blazing back and forth between the government and the opposition over Union Home Minister Amit Shah's assertion in Sansad. It also comes on a day when all eyes are going to be on that very important case in Malegaon. But tell us about how the opposition is planning to counter the government with regards to what the Home Minister said yesterday in Parliament, Sabyasachi.
Well, see, the opposition has called for a meeting of all floor leaders of India Bloc today at around 10 a.m. to strategize how they are going to gear out the central government as far as Pahalgam terror attack is concerned and the special intensive revision of voter list is concerned. Now, the opposition is of the view that Prime Minister Narendra Modi did not speak in Rajya Sabha yesterday, and that is the reason why the opposition decided to walk out of Rajya Sabha. Now, the opposition says that time and again, the central government is focusing more on the previous government, on the UPA government, and what did former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi did, or former Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru did, or what happened during the 26/11. But clearly the central government is not answering the questions that has been asked to them by the opposition, that was there an intelligence failure that led to the Pahalgam terror attack, and what about the 26 innocent people who have lost their life? So these are some of the questions which the opposition raising, and they would continue to do so. And in the meeting that has been called in by the India Bloc today, the most likely they are going to decide on the future course of action, how the opposition continue to raise questions as far as the Pahalgam terror attack is concerned.
All right. Thank you, Sabyasachi, for giving us a brief lowdown on what's expected in Parliament today. With that, viewers, it's time now for us to take a short commercial break. We'll be back. Stay